Loethu picked up a knock yesterday, but other than that, we're fully fit and ready to go. It's obviously great to get Nathan and Jack back after a good performance at the Olympics. So we have pretty much the full squad to select from, which is good, and hopefully we can build on the way we've been playing and the confidence that the group has right now.
And could you please share your thoughts on David Basquez's performance in the U20?
Yeah, it was great. Really good to see David. They were inches away from winning the whole thing and seconds away from winning the whole thing, but I thought David was one of the top performers there. Scored a couple goals against Jamaica, scored another goal, got himself some hardware, which is good. I'm sure he traded in for a first-place finish, but I'm really happy with how David's performed. We gave him a couple days off now to recover just mentally and physically from the competition, but he'll be back with the group very soon.
You could both comment on this as well, Kai. On playing Montreal for a third time this year, what lessons can you take from the first two matches?
You want to go first?
Yeah, for us, we talked about a lot already. I think we know the Montreal team pretty well already. Played them twice this season already. We played them over the last years a lot. So I think for us, it's just think about us. Don't think about the other team too much. Just play our style. We're at home. We want to win and just survive and advance.
Yeah, I think just to add on what Kai said, I think we've really improved now with Andre being back in goal. Just our team defending, the confidence and the cohesiveness that the back line has, the midfield, the strikers, everybody's connected. And, we still give up chances, but it's a lot less. And Andre's made some big saves for us when we needed them too. So overall, yeah, it's a Montreal team that takes a lot of risk building out of the back. I think we're familiar with that. They play in a lot of high-scoring games. That's not what we want to have happen in our building. But again, we want to try to win the ball as high up the field as possible. They play very brave, whether they're winning, whether they're losing, they play the same way. So there's familiarity with both groups. We know how each other are going to play, and hopefully we can take advantage of some situations in front of our home crowd here at Subaru Park.
Okay, and lastly, for Kai, when we last spoke, you talked about the challenges of switching up the back line in games for a variety of reasons. What are your thoughts on the defensive performance against Cruz Azul given the adjustments that were made?
I think really good. I think we showed against a top Mexican team, probably one of the best teams this season in Mexico, that we can control them, control our own destiny, control how they play, how we want to play out of the back, how we want to also play some longer passes, how we defend just the box. And now Andre bailed us a couple of times out, but that's why we have the best goalkeeper in the league. So I think overall it was a pretty good defensive performance, but I think overall on the whole pitch it was a great performance, and that's just something we can build on.
We'll go to Zoom next for questions. Jonathan Salomon.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
When you look with Jack and Nate coming back, I know you watched all the games that they played over there, and when you look at the kinds of guys they played against in France and Morocco and the level that those players are at, the kinds of clubs those players are at, are you able, as I know they are as players, to go to your young kids in this locker room who aspire to play in Europe and say to them, that's the level where those guys are at now, that's where you want to be and that's where you have to get to?
Yeah, look, I think with both players, there's obviously now, because they just did pretty well in a major competition, there's interest from Europe in both of them, and we've received some calls, which is a positive. But I think you tell any young player the goal should be whatever level you're at, to dominate that level. So it starts with dominating the academy first, then you'll get an opportunity with Union 2 when you can show that you're above that level. You'll come to the first team training, and then if you do well in training, which is hard to do, I will say, you become part of the 20, in this instance, the 23-man roster in this competition, and then you got to fight to get in the 11. I can't stress enough, guys, how hard it is, though, to become a full-time starter in this league. It took Nathan and Jack time to do it, right? But now they've become kind of full-time starters in the league. They've gotten, in Jack's case and Nathan's case, international opportunities with the Olympic team and even the full national team they've gotten opportunities with. But now it's hard to maintain that and stay there. And then when the time is right, I'm sure both of them have the potential, as does the person sitting next to me. They have the potential to play in Europe, and they're good enough too. So we have a great league here in MLS, and those guys now are considered, starters in this league. They've done well in the international stage, and then the next natural progression is obviously interest in Europe. And if the right deal comes across, that's certainly something we would listen to and entertain.
And Jim, and perhaps even Kai, you can speak about this too, because you've been here for a while. I was talking with Nate about this yesterday, that when the time comes that there are offers from Europe, obviously so many American kids dream of wanting to play in England, but we've seen this team, the Union, be able to show that it was right for Brendan Aronson to go to Austria first and Mark McKenzie to go to Belgium first as that first port of call in Europe, instead of just going to England. I mean, not even so many American kids go to Germany anymore, and that's traditionally where they've gone for so many years. And I just wonder what you guys think of, again, this Moroccan team had a lot of players from France, Belgium, less famous clubs in Spain, etc. When you look at stuff like that, does it help you to be able to say to the kids who are coming up on this organization, yes, it's a good thing to follow what we've already done with Brendan and Mark, where those are the right places to start in Europe and then go up from there?
Yeah, I think it has to be the right club, because if the jump is too big, you can find yourself loaned out all over the world and never get real traction at a club. So it's you see that at every level. That's not just American players, that's European players as well. If the gap is too big and the playing time isn't there, because it is brutal to get in these 11s and be a consistent starter, you have to think about it too, Jonathan. They're always, it's the job of any sporting director. They're always trying to replace you. And when you look at it at the highest level, it's very, very cutthroat. So to become a full-time starter in Europe is a real challenge. That's why I think it is very important that it is the right step. In Brendan's case, it was Salzburg. In Mark's case, it was Belgium. And then when he does really well there, I'm sure he's about to make another move forward, maybe to a bigger and better club. But it has to be the right club at the right time, because more often than not, you see players go overseas, which sounds great, to top clubs, but then they're never playing for those top clubs. They're on loan somewhere else, or they're back in MLS. So we want to be smart about how we navigate that, and we have to have the player and the club's interest in mind in that regard.
We'll go next to Joe Tanzi. Joe?
Hey guys, when it comes to the draw itself for the bracket, there's a lot of powerhouses on the other half of the East bracket. I know Cincinnati's there, but in terms of how it felt for you guys, is it kind of as ideal as it could be?
I always say we just have to think about the next game. I think the next game is always the important one. I mean, everybody knows we play at home now. We are strong at home. Finally, we're back strong at home after a couple harder knocks at the first half of the season. But I think we just have to look for the next game now. And if we beat Montreal, we can talk about the next game. But that's always my first look. So I'm not looking at the bracket. If you want to win a competition or you want to win the league, you always have to beat any team. It doesn't matter home or away. So we just look for the next game now.
Yeah, as you look at it, you start to see a lot of the top League MX clubs outside of maybe Monterrey are left and still kind of lurking. The more times teams can kind of cannibalize each other, like Kai said, you can only play the game in front of you. And right now it sets up for us with a very tough Montreal game. If we're able to get through that, Santos and Cincinnati, if Santos wins, obviously we host, which we'd like. We've never gone on the road in this competition, which I'm okay with so far in the 2 brief years that we've had. So playing in Subaru Park would be great. But if we have to go to Cincinnati, that's a tough matchup, and one we're, again, very familiar with their team, and the margins between us and them have been very, very slim over the years. And certainly, again, it's about surviving and advancing. And our focus right now is get past Montreal, and then the rest of the bracket will kind of take care of itself.
Are there any more questions on Zoom? All right, if there are no more questions, that concludes today's press conference. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.